ये लाइफ में
कुछ नहीं करवाना है, प्लस वाले करवा कोई दिक्कत नहीं है।
ये लाइफ
कैसे दिखा
बच्ची जी आ गया ना।
आप यहीं से करेंगे? क्या हाल है? How are you?
आपको भिजवा देंगे।
इसके बाद नहीं जाना है।
हाय जी
I'm not.
हाय क्या चल बढ़िया आजा महिंदर आओ भैया आओ ना कोने चला जाओ नजर नहीं आएगा और क्या बढ़िया गुड Yes. Done one. Done one. Done one. Right. याद हो जाएगा मतलब मैच पूरा पता नहीं ये सीट हो जाओगे ना यहाँ ब्लॉक पहुँच जाओगे
हमने वही है मुझसे बोलूँगी नहीं नहीं आ जाओ खाली था उन्होंने नहीं आना इनको
मैं यहाँ बैठ जाता
तो वही सुनने वाली किताब
ये ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਣਾ कैसे उठ जा
ना पहले कहता सी तुसी ਇੱਥੇ बैठे हो
मैंने कहा आएंगे तो मैं
वो यहाँ पे से कह रहे हो 5 मिनट के बैठा हूँ
ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਹੀ ਨਿਕਲਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਸਾਨ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ
मैनू बाहर जाना है 5:45
ਪਰਸ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਛੱਡ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਓ
नहीं नहीं बस
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ
क्या हुआ
ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਇਹਦਾ ਸੁਮਿਤ ਨੇ ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਨਾਲ ਵਿੱਚ
फिर भी कैप्चर कर लेगा फोटो थोड़ी जो कैमरा है ना टिकट जितना वजन से मुंह पे हाथ रख लो बड़े एंगल है अलग अलग
सेमिनार में हूँ आपसे बात करता हूँ
अच्छा सीखते हैं ना तो मेरी चीज
ये आपकी आंख है।
इकट्ठे नहीं बैठ सकते, यहाँ इकट्ठे नहीं बैठ सकते। नहीं बैठ सकते, यहाँ नहीं है अलाउ।
वो तो कहती है बैठी करती है।
वो देखो देखो वो आ गए।
आगे होगी मेरा बचाव हो जाएगा। अभी आएगी।
गोपी हटना जरा, गोपी हटना जरा। मेरे को भी फोटो पे लेना था यार। वेंद्र जी की कितना टाइपिंग कर रहे हो तुम? ठीक है क्या ना, ठीक है अच्छी फोटो खींच रहा हूँ। रेयर ओकेजन होता है
मैं साइड को जो
तो फोटो खींच ही नहीं रहा।
बेहतर मान लिया कोई बात नहीं तेरे भी
आ जाएगा उसके बाद
ब्लैक पेंट वाइट आगे कैंडी नहीं मैं क्या ब्लैक पेंट जो मेला करता
क्या हाल है जी? बढ़िया। नहीं नहीं नहीं, कुछ कनेक्ट नहीं
भाई मैं कहा हमारे भी सलाम कबूल कर दो।
हाँ यार सलाम दे रहे
यार, तुम्हारे साथ तो क्या है ना, हफ्ते 4 दिन होते ही हैं। और भाइयों की सलाम थोड़ी
आज सुबह से नहीं हुई ना, आज सुबह से मुलाकात नहीं हुई।
आज सुबह से ना ऐसा साला पाँव में पहिया सा लगा हुआ है। जहाँ आइटम 40 इफेक्टिव, वो भी साला 12:30 बजे तक आ गया। और जहाँ आइटम 8 का इफेक्टिव है,
पौने 5 आए।
वो इतनी देर में।
सैर भी करा मैंने, 8:30 खाना भी खाना।
हाँ,
तो कौन सी कोर्ट का बता रहे थे, 4:45 बजे वाला?
अमित वहाँ
वो
जी।
बैठ। अच्छा,
इसको वैसे मैं निकलने लगा, मेरे ब्रीफिंग काउंटर ने मेंशन कर दिया, उसने कहा दिस नॉट मेंटेनेबल, दूसरी साइड ने कह दिया, उसने पढ़ने लग गया, तो कहता है नॉट मेंटेनेबल। लेकिन मेरा यही टाइम रह गया, 4:45 बजे मैं कहीं ना कहीं तो मेंटेन कराया था ना मैंने। एक कोर्ट ने मेरे को इंटरिम ऑर्डर दिया था ना, तो मैंने आर्ग्यू किया था ना। आप 4:45 बजे आर्ग्यू करूँगा मैं, कहता है मैं फंक्शन टू अटेंड।
I, on behalf of Delhi High Court Bar Association, welcome you all. I request our member executive, Ms. Gayatri Puri, and our senior member executive, Shri Shyam Sharma ji, to please escort Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjeev Sachdeva ji to the dais. I welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Manoj Ori. I welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Anish Gyal. I welcome Justice Jasmeet Singh. Now I request welcome our President Shri Mohit Mathur ji to the dais. Now I request the senior designated member executive Mr. Rakesh Tikku. I welcome our Vice President Shri Jatan Singh ji. Now I request the honorable judges and our president to please come for lighting of the lamp. Justice Sachdeva, Justice Jasmeet, Justice Anish, Justice Ori, sir, please come for the lighting of the lamp.
First floor. First floor.
Please have your seats. Now I request our senior member executive Shri Shyam Sharma ji to present a planter to Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjeev Sachdeva. Now I request our senior member executive Shri Sanjay Diwanji to present a planter to Honorable Justice Jasmeet Singh. I request our lady member executive, Ms. Vandana Kaur Grover, to present the planter to Honorable Justice Manoj Kumar Kohri.
मैं तब थले पौने 6 मैं पौने 6 कॉल
Now I request our member executive, Mr. Dhanmohan, to present a planter to Honorable Mr. Justice Anish Diaz. Now I request our senior designated member executive, Sardar Inderbir Singh Alakji, to present a planter to Honorable Mr. Justice Manoj Kumar Jain. Now I request our designated senior Shri Rakesh Tikku ji to please give a welcome note. Please come to side.
Good evening, everybody. Cybercrime, the word itself is not unfamiliar to most of us, and one way or the other, either as a professional or an individual, each of us must have encountered it. All is based the computer technology, which has for the last 5 decades has shown utmost growth and has provided speed, accuracy and perfection to various dimensions of a human life and economic growth. However, on darker side, this technology has been also exploited by the criminal mindset, which has given rise to the term cybercrime. We can't blame the computer technology because it is a source. Like atomic energy can be used for a positiveness, can be used for negative. But given the fact that there has been a misuse of this technology, the Government of India had way back in 2000 made Information Technology Act, which incorporated most of the challenges which were occurring time and again. And the idea was to have a framework which can adequately respond to the menace of cybercrime. However, that was not end. New methodology, new technology, new ways of cybercrime led to another amendment in 2008. Now, what we understand cybercrime in a common sense, to us it's a hacking. Now, a large number of cases had started surfacing, which results in the hindrance to the growth, economic, personal, emotional. We need to have an ever-evolving system whereby this menace should be controlled. We as a lawyer, many of times find a lot of difficulties, both substantive, procedure, how to cope up. The conventional concept of leading evidence in a conventional court is no longer now that prevalent. So therefore, need comes of electronic evidence. These tools, therefore, also have to accordingly change and keep pace with the changing times. Evidence electronic is basically required to be examined just to ensure our understanding so that their high rate of conviction could be there. Justice Sachdeva, as we all know, has been highly tech-savvy, both as a lawyer, as a judge, and has a vast experience and knowledge on this regard. In fact, this topic was suggested by him only. And he has very kindly agreed to share his experience, knowledge and expertise with the members of the bar. I would only request that towards the end, when this session is over, I am sure that many of us would have a lot of questions concerning that each one gets some kind of a mischievous call. How does it happen? How do the hacker get our data? How do we recognize? Other day, on a song of a Hindi movie, they had shown X person as Y and Y as Z. So how does the ordinary citizen deal with situation? I'm sure my Lord Justice Sachdeva will throw a light on this. And good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request our young and dynamic president to present a plaque of honor to our guest of honor and keynote speaker, Justice Sachdeva. Now I invite our head of the Bar Association, Shri Mohit Mathur, to give a presidential address. Sir. This time I refrain myself by saying Father of the Bar.
I thought as much. Good evening, everyone. While I welcome all of you, I also express my gratitude to Justice Sachdeva, who has very kindly consented to speak on this topic, which perhaps, when this subject was alien to us, he was a master in it. And I am also grateful to my senior designated member, Mr. Tikku, to weave the entire program so as to continue with this concept that we are trying to evolve of learning the law. This is our third lecture on this series of interactive discussions and subject of law, where we invite our honorable judges who are always that way eager and keen to join in sharing their knowledge, their wisdom, and their experience with the members of the bar, both young and old, so that we have a clearer understanding of the law and we are able to be better ambassadors of our profession and keep this institution, which we hold very close to our heart, our high court, the flag flying high. I always request, and I request the people who are standing, Mr. Vadva, you can all come here, there are enough chairs here. When there is a larger participation of the bar with the sharing of knowledge, it helps in evolving both the law as well as helps in a better understanding of the subject, which ultimately helps in easing the problems of the consumers of justice, the people whom we have to serve. When we have a better understanding, naturally it helps the consumers of justice, and then we build a more robust system. Actually, though I wanted to speak on the point of how this technological advancement hits us both ways. While it helps us increase the efficiency, ease the work, but at the same time, some unscrupulous people also misutilize it. And I was sharing with Justice Sachdeva, just recently, in this week itself, my executive committee members got a mail from my email account saying, addressed to each one of them by name, and saying that our treasurer was absent, and I needed some money for carrying out the operating expenditure. Now, I haven't reported it as yet, but it was a very interesting thing. Somebody picked names, exact names, and it went to my entire executive committee. Though none of them paid heed to it and nobody paid me anything, nobody sent me any money, but still, look at the kind of intrusion into our privacy, intrusion into our systems that happened. And this is all that we need to understand, because each one of us is affected in some way or the other. As we keep hearing that Google hears us all, the fact of the matter is that when we even use one search engine for one such thing, the next 10 days you will be just bombarded with the messages of ads of their client. So AI is affecting our lives in some way or the other every time. So let's have the speaker of the day, Justice Sanjeev Sachdeva, who's been an elder brother to all of us and a master of this subject. And we have Abby here trying to sort out the digital problems of the digital law. And whenever he gives the nod, I'll leave the speech for Mr. Sachdeva. So what's up, Abby? So I have 1 more minute to speak. My only request to all of you is, don't treat this lecture series that we are continuing as only a one-way traffic. I would request all my members to contribute their own suggestions and ideas to us, because this is what we want to create as a bed for nourishing our inquisitive natures, our requirements of understanding, and increasing our knowledge on the subject. I would invite everyone, whosoever has any good ideas about a good topic he feels that requires experienced people to speak on. And we have our honorable judges also, who are kind enough to share their wisdom and experience. And as I was saying, there are miscreants like Abhimanyu Chopra, who are not allowing our keynote speaker to speak.
Well, they're still struggling with technology.
So as I was saying, please, if you have any ideas, because this lecture series we want to continue this learning of law. Any ideas for the next sessions, for the future sessions, on different subjects, different aspects of law? You're most welcome to please contribute those ideas so that we can then patch up something, have the expert speakers on this subject, and for we are fortunate to have good experts as members of our bar who are eager and willing to share their knowledge and wisdom with everyone. I request everyone to think about any good suggestions, any good ideas. The judges are changing their scams now. They want this scam. I'll just give them my mic, not my place. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My talk is not going to be about law. It has nothing to do with law at all. Let's hope it works. Something is
I welcome Justice Kameshwar Rao. I welcome Justice Rekha Bandi. I welcome Justice Saurabh Banerjee. We have once again gathered here in this auditorium. We welcome Justice Tushar Rao Gadela.
How are you?
We have once again gathered here in this auditorium to take part in the learning of the law chapter series organized by Delhi High Court Bar Association. The topic chosen by us is very significant in today's digital age. And to explain and speak the intricacies of the subject, there cannot be a better speaker than our keynote speaker, Justice Sachdeva. Now I request Justice Sachdeva to please come to the dais and address me.
Can we have the lights out, please? Lights. Just shining light.
Sir, are we having a repeat of Agra?
Sorry? No, we're not going to have a repeat of Agra.
We had good fun.
Yes, that fun will always be there because my talk is not going to be about law. You can all read 65B, Arjun Pandit Rao, Anwar Bashir. My talk is here to scare you. Not about law. It's going to make you aware of what we are going to face. So when we begin, you see, that's what we said. Mr. Mathur said, master of technology. Technology says you can't master me. And you can't always be right. So you have to stand on the left and speak. You can't stand on the right. You're not right with technology ever. Because technology keeps changing. So let me take you for a walk in history. Now, why I love taking people to walk in history, especially when I have such youngsters in the audience. Now, some of us youngsters, well, I call myself a young because we have now, if you people have seen, well, 20th July 1969, famous words were spoken, Eagle has landed. I'm not talking about Jack Higgins' novel Eagle has landed or the World War II movie Eagle has landed. What I'm talking of are the words first spoken by man on the moon. Now you must be wondering, how is this very relevant? Eagle landed on the moon, so what? How many of you know what a ram is? Ram is a kind of a goat. But I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about the RAM that you people lifted your hand on. It's actually the random access memory of a computer system. You know what is, our phones today have a RAM of 16 gig, 8 gig. We all love to have RAM. I want to go and have a RAM of 64 gigabytes. No, I don't know. But You know what a gigabyte is? Computer doesn't understand alphabets. It understands electrical impulses, zeros and ones. 1 0 or 1 1 is called a bit. Combination of 8 is called a byte. Now 1024 bytes is a kilobyte, 1024 kilobytes is a megabyte, 1024 megabytes is a gigabyte. So we are talking of bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes. Our phones have capacity of 16 gigabytes. My first computer that I bought was, or rather worked on, was in 1983. It did not have a hard drive. And then came 8086 came later. Wipro 8086 had a separate hard drive of 40 kilobytes. 40 kilobytes. That was the hard drive. You used to put in a floppy. Now, why it becomes relevant in context of the moon? Apollo 11 landed on the moon with a processor which was 1300 times slower than an iPhone 5. We are in the era of iPhone 15. It had a speed of 1024 megahertz with a processing RAM of 4 kilobytes. We have in our phone today 16 gigabytes. So that means over 100,000 Apollo 11s, each one of you can guide to the moon and bring them back. That's the computing power our computer has. And that was 1969. Some of us were born before that. Now this becomes relevant for all of you who were born after that. RAM of 6 gigabyte, 3 gigabyte. How many of you have seen or operated a TV like this? This is a TV, this is not a washing machine or something. The youngsters won't even know. And the pleasure used to be if you had two brothers in the family. One would be standing next to the TV, other would be on the rooftop, antenna ghuma rahe. And then was this system. And it used to take 5-7 minutes to warm up for us to listen to music. Then this came. Now only the senior ones know the connection between a pencil and a cassette. The younger ones have no idea what it means. And then we used to have audio devices like this, then came this technology. Now, some of us have played with devices like this. I don't know whether half the audience would know what is there on the bottom. They won't even have an idea what this is. And that used to be a pastime and a nuisance value for the parents. And the teacher. Suddenly somebody will go tick tick. It all used to be a tick tick.
This is the TikTok of the past.
TikTok of the past, that's right. And then came these kind of devices. And incidentally, that's how computers grow. Now we see computers, evolution of memory. We used to have a memory card like that. Then came pen drives. The black one used to be the actually floppy drive that we used to use first. It used to have a capacity of 1.44 kilobytes. 2005 we had a microchip of 128 MB. Then in 2014 we could fit in 128 gigabytes in it. And now we can fit in 2 terabytes of data in that kind of a space. Now some of the children here won't even know what this device is or how it operates. This is actually a telephone and you have to dial. They don't know how they will dial it. If I were to give it to my son, I don't know whether he'll be able to actually dial with that or not. Most of them have not used it. Then came these STD, ISD, PSO, PCO booths. And the device on the left was called a pager, which came in and got phased out very shortly because the phones then developed a messaging system. Earlier there were no phones with messaging systems. That's how phones grew. The world moved on. The world has actually moved on from what you saw to what we are today. But what about courts? You know, this was a typewriter in 1988 when I joined the profession. A steno used to have a typewriter in this. There were no printers, etc. You had a typewriter like this, and this used to take a carbon paper. I don't know, some of you might still not know what a carbon paper is or how it was used. And there were no photocopiers. I remember in my college when I went to get a photocopy done of a paper, it used to take about 4 to 5 minutes for one page to be photocopied. There was the camera, the huge machine, He will take a photograph, then there is a plate on which he'll put it, there will be powder, he'll roll it like this and then take out one sheet. And you couldn't take out a second sheet, you will have to take a second shot. With this, we used to have 1+3, a good steno with strong build would be able to print out 1+3 sheets, 3 carbon papers. And God forbid if you had to read from the 3rd carbon sheet. And the clever lawyers would always supply that copy to a opposite counsel. So he would have, and some of us actually got glasses because of those devices. Then came these dot matrix printers. They were 9-pin, 24-pin, then these laser printers and all. This was a printout which used to come out of that. There's a clear printout from the Remington typewriter. Something like this. Then actually came these. Now what is all this? This is the carbon paper which we used to use. Probably somebody might still have that in store. These are not available. If you go and ask it to a stationery shop, they'll dig out something and come out with a carbon paper. This is what the courtroom used to look like. And this is what we have reached today. That's the pace of technology. We have reached from there to these kind of paperless courts. This you all have seen here. Some of the courts still function in the old-fashioned way. That's the only introduction of a technology in the court system. From a paper court to this, and we are all very proud. Look, we've achieved something substantial in terms of technology in court. Delhi High Court is probably the best. This is all we've been able to achieve. And when we talk of crime, cyber evidence, cyber crime, the whole issue is we need to change our mindset. Youngsters today feel that, look, I know technology, but let me tell you, I give these presentations every month. And every month I have a slide or a presentation to add because technology is outgoing things at a very, very fast pace. Question is, what is electronic evidence? We all look at 65B electronic evidence to give a certificate. Well, electronic evidence is any probative information stored or transmitted in digital form that can be used at trial. Like I said, binary form, 0s and 1, is not limited to what is found on computers. It can be found on any telecommunication device. The routers that we have, they contain electronic evidence. Now, before any digital evidence can be accepted, it is of utmost importance to ascertain its relevance, veracity, authenticity, and also to establish whether merely hearsay is being produced or a copy is being produced instead of the original. Now, sometimes we don't even know what an original is. How do you identify a computer? Now, if somebody were to tell you this is somebody's computer, how will you identify it? They are identified by something which is called an IP number. Every computer has an internet protocol number. It becomes relevant, especially in evidence when a cyber crime is committed. Your computer is produced. He says, this is not my computer. How will you identify it's his? From a unique machine identification number, that's the IP protocol, the internet address. Whether it's a computer, phone, smart TV, Xbox, PlayStation, all are computers. All have their own IP addresses.
Today I want to talk about IP addresses and what they mean. IP addresses are basically numbers that identify computers on a TCP/IP network. TCP/IP network is basically the most popular protocol for networking in the world right now, and it's how the internet works. And the IP address is the number that identifies your computer on the internet or on your local network. So even if you set up a home network with a router like this, or you're just going on the internet, you always have an IP address that tells you who you are in the network, so that other computers can relate to you, because computers talk to each other by numbers. An IP address is written down as 4 sets of numbers, not surpassing 255, so it'll look like 75.168.5.23, for example. And you basically have 2 kinds of IP addresses.
So IP address is everything is denoted by an IP address, including a website. Website also is an IP address on a computer. Now, question is, where do you find this electronic evidence? It can be found on storage devices, pen drives, flash drives, computers, hard disks, cell phones, external like a hard drive, memory card, flash drive, pen drive. Now it can be found in digital files, email, photographs, word processing document, message history, backup files. You name it and you'll find it. Anything connected, anything which can be switched on will have some electronic evidence available. That becomes a potential for all of us to solve a crime, find a crime. In digital world, we are blind. Why do we say digital world we are blind? Because digital world does not understand alphabets. It understands zeros and ones. This is one character. This is a binary code of a pulse, zeros and ones. Combination of 8. This is how computer would read it. Even a fingerprint on the computer will be a combination of zeros and ones. If you open up a computer, you won't find anything. A photograph, it will be zeros and ones. And the important point is that when you are reading a photograph fingerprint, you must read it using a software through which it was saved. If you don't use the correct software, you will get something like this, a jumbled output. It may not be correct, or something like this, or even a photograph which sometimes looks like this. That is not correctly, output is not correct. We all use digital signatures. Now, digital signature is a very risky concept. We all say our document is signed. How many of you have used a digital signature? Nearly everybody. You get that small dongle with it, and digital signature is valid for 2 years, from 1 year, 2 years, depending on the period that you've taken. If I were to show you your signatures 10 years, 20 years down the line, you will be able to identify immediately, yes, these are my signatures. But what about digital signatures? If I produce a digital document saying that it is signed by you 5 years down the line, how will you verify it? You have no idea, because the digital signature actually looks like this. Even a comma full stop change will change the digital signature. So how do you authenticate this? It is with that private key that you get. If you misplace that private key, you will not be able to verify it was your signature or not. So please save it. Earlier, digital signatures were being issued by just your email address. You had to only provide your email address and a digital signature card would be issued. There will be no email sent on your email address that a digital signature card has been issued to you or not. So somebody could simply know your name, your email address and get a digital signature card. Now they have started biometrics. So this issue was flagged by me, has been flagged by me over several years, and now they have come up with the biometric concept. Digital evidence can be classified as volatile or non-volatile. Volatile is evidence which remains in a digital media till it is powered. For example, your cell phone, so long as it is on, that evidence is there. It is not stored anywhere. The moment you switch it off, it goes. We must have faced it at times when you're keying in a document and suddenly light goes. Whatever was there on the screen suddenly gets wiped out because you've not saved it. So that is volatile digital data. Non-volatile is which remains stored. Again, relevance would. Now, anybody who accesses the internet leaves a footprint. It's called a digital footprint. Now, digital footprints become a huge asset in ascertaining crimes, determining culprits. Now, I'll show you a couple of videos on that. Now, I was asked a question in one of the seminars that I was doing, that one of the judges actually asked me, is this digital footprint, is it there? Would the computer remember what I ordered when I was a student in college? I said, of course it would. Nothing ever gets deleted. First, let's look at digital footprint. So whenever you access the net, you leave a digital footprint. Question is, can we delete it? Nothing put on the internet ever gets deleted.
In life, you purchase your electronics, your groceries, your clothing, whatever else you need. You take off the packaging, you throw it in the trash can. Once a week, someone comes to take it all away. It's like magic. Once it's gone, you never have to worry about it again. Unfortunately for us, the same cannot be said for deleting files on a computer storage drive. For one thing, usually deleting a file just moves it to the recycle bin, which has no sanitation technician who comes and removes it every week. It's simply a different folder location where files are stored indefinitely. The file is still there, and anyone with access to your computer can find them. Silly Linus, once it's in the bin, I can just empty the whole thing with one click, and my computer tells me, hey, this is a permanent change, and that file will no longer be accessible on your computer once you do that. And you would be correct mostly. The file is no longer easily accessible on your computer, but there is a huge difference between whether a file is easily accessible and whether it has actually been removed. On both magnetic and solid state drives, the bits of data that make up your photos, music, tax records, and whatever else are naturally kind of scattered around. And the way your operating system knows where to find all the pieces is, on NTFS formatted drives anyway, through the reference to it in the master file table. So back to deleting stuff. Removing a file from the recycle bin only removes the master file table reference that points to the pieces that make up that file puzzle and registers the space that it used to take up as empty. This gives the operating system permission to go right over it, but that does not mean that right after you clean out your recycle bin, the file is gone. Not by a long shot. In fact, there are many programs that are dedicated to reconstructing deleted files, some of which can do so even after a drive has been reformatted. And using those programs right away, like right after an accidental deletion or reformat, before lots of the data has been gradually overwritten, has saved many a person's.
So how do you delete data? Virtually you can't delete it. But if you fill up the hard drive over and over again, format it over and over again, maybe after 7, 8, 9 tries, it might get deleted. There are softwares which can access it. Now we have several programs which say WhatsApp is encrypted, Facebook is encrypted, nobody can access data. And we have these orders, forget me, right to be forgotten. We pass an order to WhatsApp, to Facebook, delete the data, remove this information. Can it actually be done? They come back and file an affidavit in our court, yes, we've done it. Is that true?
But everything which ends up online stays there. Sometimes it can be useful, such as finding an old photo of your friends, or even digging out an old tweet to show the world a politician's hypocrisy. But what happens if we can't delete embarrassing things, even if we want to? Internet privacy is now increasingly becoming a myth. Discussions were sparked again after Twitter's former security chief testified before a US Senate committee this May.
So what are the problems I discovered? Two basic issues. First, they don't know what data they have, where it lives, or where it came from, and so, unsurprisingly, they can't protect it. And this leads to the second problem, which is the employees then have to have too much access to too much data and to too many systems.
The first part of his revelation states that Twitter does not know what data they have or where that data is stored. If that's the case, then how is the social media giant supposed to erase that information? Well, Twitter is under the spotlight in this scenario. Similar questions can be asked of all tech firms. The second part of this statement was that employees have too much access to too much data. What can you do if some engineer on the other side of the world wants to look at your family photos? Is it even possible to take legal action against such an invasion of privacy? Or have those rights been signed away when we accept the company's terms and conditions, something we don't even take time to read? Urgent discussions took place about the company access to data after the US Supreme Court overturned the Roe versus Wade judgment. Let's now take a look at the messaging over the internet. What usually happens when you send a message to someone is that one copy of that message gets stored on your device, say your smartphone, and one copy on the recipient's device, and one copy on the company's server. So one solution is end-to-end encryption. Some messaging apps like WhatsApp have that feature. It prevents the app company from viewing any messages exchanged between the users, even if someone wants to see the message on the company's server.
That's their claim, end-to-end encrypted. How will you ensure it? Who are the biggest litigants? Are these corporate houses which control the internet? So they may come and say, look, data is encrypted, even we can't read it. We just have to take their word for it, there's no way of finding out. Several legal issues arise. Identity theft. Mr. Mathur just gave one example of an identity theft. Somebody stole, hacked into his system. But sometimes identity theft happens because of our own actions. Earlier there was no concept of locking your Facebook account. Now when you try and access somebody's account, say the account has been locked. Why did that happen? Because we put so much information on the internet. We travel. The moment we go and we check in, the entire family is checked in a hotel in London. Holiday in 15 days. They come back after 15 days, the house is empty. Now that's all the information we put on the net. It can become a major source of a crime. 5 to 6% of the Facebook accounts were fake. This is information of 2011. We don't know how many are fake today. Now you go to search for any celebrity, you will find probably hundreds of Facebook accounts in the name of that celebrity with genuine photographs. We don't know which is the official account, which is the unofficial account.
Identity theft doesn't just happen in the movies. It affects millions of people each year and can just as easily happen to you in the blink of an eye.
Actually, we can skip this slide. You see, I remember a case where somebody came to one of the proactive investigating officers caught somebody. They caught about 4 or 5 people whose phones or mobile numbers were actually used for some crime. And they all said, we don't even know, we never had these mobile numbers, but they were all registered in their name. How many of you went for Aadhaar verification for your mobile? All of you must have gone, because that was suddenly the policy change and you had to go into one of these Airtel, Vodafone centers and give a biometric and do it. Now we all felt very confident. You know, the revealing factor in that case was the IO was tech savvy. He realized after a little bit of investigation that all those 4 or 5 people that he caught, they were not connected to each other, they were remote locations, had bought a SIM card from a particular vendor. What he found out was that when those people went for their biometric, and this must have happened to quite a few of us, you put your thumb, he says, "Ye theek nahi hua," he takes a cloth and wipes it, and then you put it again. And you get 2 messages, biometric. You say, all right, 2 messages have come. What he did was, in the first print, he issued a SIM card. In the second print, he authenticated that person's number. That SIM card was misused. How many of you face this problem when you go for your biometric? Is it theek nahi hai, kapda mara and dobara you put your again? Most of the time we face that. What if it's misused? Identity theft. And is your Aadhaar verified? And you get a message on your SMS, yes, and you say, yes, I've just done it. Ho gaya hoga galti se. Now these systems are in place. We don't know what to trust, what not to trust. Now, just as third-party material posted on social media site may infringe copyright or trademark, disclosure of confidential information may violate privacy rights of individuals. The passing of information to people is again one of the cyber crimes that happen. Data breaches and hacking. Tremendous amount of hacking, and this in fact is one of our premier institutions. Their website was hacked. Recently, AIMS was hacked. How does hacking happen? How many of you have ever received a message like this? Your online access has been blocked. We get these messages every day. Your online access has been blocked. Your PayPal account has been limited. Your Apple ID, somebody trying to sign in. And what do? First reaction, we log in. Immediately click on that and log in. And feed a user ID password. That's a spoof site. These are fake messages, fake websites. See, on that Amazon there is an extra N. I looks like L. We don't even notice it. We are worried suddenly my bank account is going to close my access to the bank. I need to make a transaction and I immediately log in and do it. What happens is these are phishing links. They take you to genuine looking sites. But these are all bogus entries, bogus sites.
How likely are you to experience a cyber attack against your personal data?
Ransomware we became very much aware of these ransomware where bitcoins were.
Vulnerable to cyber threats like phishing scams. And different types of computer malware that can.
Now, bitcoins, AIMS had that attack. So people will suddenly log on, some unwary person accesses it, and the entire system is hacked. I'm actually skipping some slides because we are missing out on time. There are loads of material still to come. Posting of text and photos on social network sites have been source of discovery of criminal activity. Now, investigating agencies use these sites that you access in determining the crime. Mumbai ATS reported that persons behind 2026-11 attack were actually connected to each other through Messenger app on Facebook. They were talking to each other from here to Pakistan. They were in touch. Criminal activities relation to social networking. Evidence of criminal activity is available. It is increasingly becoming a source for discovery and investigation of criminal activity by members. Profiles can be useful. Now, recently there was a case where a person was murdered, a blind case. Now, Bangladeshis then went, accessed his Facebook account and found out that he was recently in touch with somebody and was going to meet someone in a recent place, and ultimately they traced out the culprit in cotton through the Facebook account. So these social networking sites are huge amount of data. And the biggest espionage is by the corporates. You know who's watching you. There is someone in this world who knows today where you are right now and what you are doing. The other day, Google always watches you. There's an app called Flight Radar 24. I don't know how many of you have accessed this site. This has information on every aircraft in the sky, live information. You want to access where is the particular flight reached, you can do that. How many of you have used this app?
I used it like.
But somebody is using it right now. We all use it every day. You know how this works? There's no satellite monitoring something. It's actually Google monitoring every device connected to Google and following at what speed they are traveling. So everybody in this room is connected to Google. Every system is connected to Google. And they know you are here. You know, surprising thing was I was talking with my son. We were generally discussing about going to some place. Generally discussing, no search, nothing. And suddenly when we opened our Facebook account, we got advertisements of hotels in that place. That means the phone was listening to what was happening in that room. So those are the biggest spies. There was this German artist. He took a cartload of mobile phones in a cart, connected to the net. And walked on an empty street. See the map. From green, it is slowly becoming red. Because all the phones were moving at a very slow pace. So he fooled Google into believing that there's a lot of traffic jam on that place. That's how they work. They monitor every step you take. How many of you know of something called location services? You all use every app says location on, location off, location while using the app. Oh yes. This is, you know what this is? This is a motherboard. Every computer has it, in some big or a small form. Now this was an article which was carried by a Bloomberg magazine in 2016. It says everyone from Amazon to Apple to US military used this piece of equipment from a company in California. That company was selling this, implanting this in all computers. And what happened? China hacked it with one tiny chip. That chip was in that motherboard. Because motherboard was manufactured in China, China had it. Now that chip had the capacity, and that chip was the size of a pencil tip, sharpened pencil tip. It had the capacity of bypassing every security system. See that chip? That's what it was. We won't even notice it. But that could bypass every computer system, every security system put in place. And all computers from Apple to military in US were using it. We don't know, probably our computers or phones have it. So anybody can listen on to your conversation, everything that you do. Now this is the timeline, Google timeline. They were tracking me, and every month it sends me a report. Where all you've traveled. 1 country, 3 cities, 45 places in April. I don't know, actually this is not me traveling, otherwise you think that I can travel a lot, don't work. You see, we are all connected to a user ID. So all my devices which were connected to you are user ID, my iPad, my cell phone, my son's iPad, his cell phone, other family members' iPad. So this is why it's given me so many. I have not traveled that much. I work, sometimes I do, but this was, it gave me a route plan of what I did. I went to Kaziranga from Guwahati. So it gave me a plan, it gave me very, next day I got an email. Hey, look, this is your travel plan. So this watching 24/7 monitoring you. Now are you disclosing? Now this is confidential information, but somebody knows, and we all sign off our rights and give that information away. Now this is the best thing we do. Go and check in. I don't know how many of you know of Batman and Robin. Some of these were comics at our times. I don't know. Some youngsters won't even know. So this is what he do. Checked in.
बेटा आज घर पे अकेली हो क्या?
चला मैम, आज घर में अकेले हो ना?
दीदी आज अकेले हैं क्या?
अरे बेटा मान
हर एक फ्रेंड जरूरी नहीं होता है। सावधानी से अपनी जानकारी सोशल मीडिया पर अपलोड कीजिए, साइबर क्राइम को रोकिए।
Folks traveling home alone tonight party. Innocuous post on a Facebook page. All her friends, the delivery boy, doorman, maid, neighbors, everybody got to know she's home alone. So be very careful in who you accept as a friend and what you post on social media. Coming to digital forensics, you must be thinking, let's go to evidence now. You talk too much of crime. Computer forensics is a branch of forensic science pertaining to legal evidence found in computers. It's also known as digital forensics. I'll explain, it can be found on any device. Now, electronic evidence, we have to verify whether it is authentic, genuine. Question is, how do you collect this piece of evidence? Where will you get it? How do you source it? How do you authenticate it? Somebody produces evidence, this is not mine. How do you got it? Again, 65B is what I was expected to talk about. Well, I'm not going to talk about 65B at all. You can all look at those provisions, even or the kind of certificates that was to be given. Anwar Bashir judgment, I'm sure all lawyers here can read it. Then came the issue of Arjun Pandit Rao, which is the latest law now, as to when you need to produce it. How do you use digital evidence? Now this is an eye-opener, where the world has reached in terms of digital evidence and where we in India still are, or the courts are.
7 years. For the first time, a news camera allowed inside the Boulder County Forensic Lab for Computers, where we found the cat and mouse game of catching criminals is changing. 7 News reporter Amanda Costa revealing the new technology cracking cases and sealing convictions.
So this is off of a phone as it happens.
It's a case of he said, she said.
At this point, no one knew what was going on. Even the neighbors don't know what's going on. And in fact, when police arrived, they find her with blood on her face, and they thought initially she was the actual victim in this case.
Emily Cole was arrested, later convicted, but on trial claimed she was the victim.
But this, recorded off of the victim's cell phone, 45 minutes before the event, really demonstrates what she had intended to do.
It's digital evidence.
That's made all the difference in a lot of these cases that we prosecute.
Another example,
Circling the house.
where GPS coordinates confirmed the stalker's route, and pictures of the child victim found on Luis Gutierrez's computer sealed his conviction.
Now this digital evidence found on somebody's computer of a child victim, imagine what was found and what technology could do.
A girl kneeling on a bathroom counter. To the unassisted eye, there's no way of identifying the person taking this photo, the perpetrator exploiting this young child.
We've got the pill bottle here. As I bring it up, you'll notice the more pixelated it gets.
Apart from the pharmacy and a first name Stephen, it's unreadable. This technology can change that.
So now we can see what the medication is and the first 2 characters of the prescription number.
That led detectives to this man, Stephen Keating, and they found another clue.
We had a close-up image of the suspect's hand.
By applying filters, they can bring out the detail.
It was actually the very first time that we were able to pull fingerprints from an image.
So this is really strong evidence.
Imagine pulling out fingerprints from within a photograph. That's technology. Now I had a case where all of you who've done some criminal matters, the police comes up with an answer that we've not found any fingerprints on the bullets or the shells that are recovered from the site because they're clean. Somebody wiped them out, somebody sort of puts them in, then cleans it with a cloth. A British professor using 500 pounds developed this technology.
From an unassuming office in Northampton has come one of the most significant breakthroughs in forensic science for years. Dr. John Bond from Northamptonshire Police has developed a technique to uncover hidden fingerprints from bullets, even if they were wiped clean. It's quintessentially British. This cardboard box contains the prototype developed for just £500 over 3 years, but it could help resolve thousands of murders around the world.
In the US, police force have told us there are literally thousands of unsolved murders where a firearm's been discharged, shell casings like this one have been found at the crime scene, and conventionally they can't find fingerprints on the shell casing. So could we help them about this kind of hopefully?
Dr. Bond realised that when someone handles a bullet, the sweat on their fingers will slightly corrode the metal. So even if a print is wiped off the casing, the corrosion remains. He's worked out how to recover that lost print. It's been named as one of the top inventions of the year, and even mentioned on the hit show CSI.
Imagine extracting your fingerprint even after it is wiped clean.
With every...
Let's come to this. This is another eye-opener evidence that is used. This person's wife was murdered. And they're looking at what he searched over his iPad. Now he's searching
destroys the capability that you really need to.
Obviously, when you find that, it's damning.
Incriminating search history.
10 ways to dispose of dead body.
Every case we cover.
How to dispose of a dead body.
Searches are more shocking.
This search history was available on his iPad. From that they could ascertain his wife's gone missing, dead body is found, we don't know who's killed her. But suddenly during that period they find out his case history, his search history. How do you dispose of a dead body? Evidences like this are crucial and they solve a lot of crimes. How many of you have heard of a concept called metadata? Now let me give you an example. Supposing somebody were to produce a 65B certificate along with a photograph in court and he is deposing falsely. How would you determine it? That is truthful or false? Metadata is data that gives information about other data. You know, every electronic file has information about that file as also about that file. For example, in a digital photo, as to what camera was used, what lens was used, in a file, the author, number of characters. Now, supposing I produce this photo in evidence. This is incidentally the view from Shimla's Judges Lounge of Shimla. Now, if I were to produce this photograph and a 65B certificate saying that I took this day before yesterday with my Canon phone, and I'm giving a 65B and my Canon phone got stolen, camera got stolen. But here is a 65B certificate, I've taken it from that and I am truthful, stayed strong in my cross-examination. Now, criminal lawyers, how will you cross-examine? Only thing where you're deposing falsely, incorrect to state you use camera, etc. That's the normal technique we use. But if you knew something about metadata, thanks. Now, there are various ways of extracting metadata. I extracted metadata of this photograph. And it showed me that this was taken with an iPhone 7 Plus on 22nd July 2017 at 5:15 p.m. It also gave me information that back camera was used. What I did was, as a let me test, I copied that photograph from one computer to the other to see if the metadata would change. Incidentally, it remained the same. It did not change. So I thought maybe Apple phone. So another photograph I took from a Samsung phone. It gave me the date and time. Extracted metadata from a different system of the same photograph, exactly the same metadata. I said maybe phones have that because they have some location facility. So this is again an iPhone. No, this is the Sony camera. It gives me the details of the photograph. Then I took it from, this one is from an iPhone. And look at the bottom. Because phones have location facility, it gives me the latitude and longitude to the decimal feet as to where the camera was. Another photograph, again similar latitude, longitude, which camera is used, and the location of the phone where it was when the photograph was taken. I said, let me edit the photograph. So the sea in Bombay suddenly dries up. Completely gone dry. I said, will the metadata change? Well, most of the information, phone with which it was taken, continued to remain the same. Date it was created remains the same. The latitude, longitude remained the same. But it gave me software. Adobe Photoshop was used to edit the photograph. That gets embedded in the metadata. See, it gives the information of Adobe Photoshop. Now then I thought maybe that's photograph. So let's test it with a video clip. Well, it was just to come on. Anyways. So video clip, it also gave me the altitude. What was the level? And in one case, it became very relevant. For the reason somebody's wife was murdered in a hotel. He says, yes, I was in the hotel, but I was not on the same floor, I was on a different floor. His phone location confirmed he was in the hotel. His height also confirmed he was on the same floor in the same room. That's how he got caught. So these are our devices are the biggest spies. A PowerPoint presentation will give you when it was created, how many slides are there. Similarly, a Word document, how many, incidentally, when it was created, when last accessed. I took a photograph, another photograph, I love taking photographs. So on the left, there is this GPS map. It gave me the location of where the phone was, where I was standing when I took that photograph. These are the kind of information that get collected in the photograph. This is extracted from the photograph, from the metadata. If you know a concept like metadata, nobody can tell a lie, nobody can fool you in court. You produce a 65-year, forget it, produce the metadata. When we ask for forensic report, they give us metadata. But most of us judges don't even know what to do with it. We have no idea what to do with the metadata. We just look at figures, facts, it makes no sense. It's a 65G certificate, he's cross-examined, that's the end. This is to make you aware that there is a concept called metadata. Become aware of it, study about it. Any kind of electronic evidence, look at metadata. Metadata can't be changed, can't be fooled. The moment you tamper with metadata, that information will get captured in the device. That metadata has now been tampered. Mr. Tikku talked of AI. It's not alien technology, but it's actually way ahead of us. We use it every day. Again, for cyber crimes and matrimonial lawyers.
उनमें स्क्रीनशॉट लेते हैं ना, कभी भी उस चीज पर ट्रस्ट मत करना। जो मैं भी आपको बताने जा रहा हूँ उसके बाद आपका दिमाग हिल जाए। एक वेबसाइट है fake-details.com और जब यहाँ सोशल मीडिया पे क्लिक करते हो और व्हाट्सएप पे जाते हो तो खुद पे खुद मैनुअली कुछ भी आप लिख सकते हो स्क्रीनशॉट में। सेंडर के मैसेज, रिसीवर के मैसेज, टाइम, डेट, नेम और वो फोटो पूरा का पूरा बना सकते हो खुद जैसा चाहते हो। इंस्टाग्राम, फेसबुक, ट्विटर, यहाँ के लिए भी चैट्स आप खुद से डिजाइन कर सकते हो। ये चीज करके बहुत से स्कैम्स हो रहे हैं, बहुत से रिलेशनशिप में पागल बना रहे हैं लोग एक दूसरे।
Evidence is produced in court. This is, I sent this WhatsApp message, this is the confirmation which came. What do you do with it? What do we as judges and what do you as lawyers do? Now, hacking. Now, we all get these pen drives. They put pen drive in a system. Just look at this quick.
Right. USB thumb drive such as this one. Would you plug it into your computer if I gave it to you? Or if you picked it up? This looks just like any normal USB thumb drive. Notice what happens when I plug this in. I'm going to plug it in just like any other normal USB thumb drive. Something happened. I don't know if you noticed that. It went very quickly. We saw something happen and then it disappeared. Now, literally within a few seconds, I have control of this laptop using this USB thumb drive. Because what's happened is that computer has opened up a session to my web server and it's downloaded a PowerShell script that allows.
So with one pen drive, he could access that system, take full control of it. Full control means you can use that for committing a crime. You use somebody else's computer for committing a crime, he goes into trouble. I am so scot-free. What if you could do this remotely? This was with a pen drive that happened.
So this device is a Bluetooth transmitter. I could be, within about 300 feet of the computer, I could push a button on here. And then what's going to happen, if you look at the lower left-hand corner of the Windows computer where it says type here to search, in about 5 seconds, you're going to see it like magically type. It's going to be a split second. And then what's going to happen over here, we're going to gain control of the computer. So what I want you to do, Phil, is see that A button? You can walk over there back to your chair, see the A?
Sort of.
Yeah, just,
Yeah, it's a bottom.
okay, yeah, press the A button, stop. Okay, and then we should look at the lower left-hand part of the screen. There it goes. That's the malware being injected. And that's it. That's all the victim sees. And I don't
That-
see the
that fast?
That fast.
So right now, you're controlling this computer
From
from here.
Virginia. Yeah, I'm connected to a computer in Virginia. This has malware installed now because of the cable, and now I'm able to.
Now, from a Bluetooth transmitter, he could have access. How many of you have Bluetooth on in your cell phone? Everybody. So, I can hack into all of your computers, all of your phones, use them for making calls, for committing crimes. No defense, it's your phone. And there is evidence in your phone that you've done it. Similarly, if this is produced as a defense before us, how do we as judges deal with it? We're not even aware what to do. Now there's a concept of deepfake. Recently there was a huge issue on deepfake.
This is a deep fake video I made with an artificial intelligence. What you see on the top part of this video is a completely AI generated video of me talking to you, but as an entirely different person. You can see that if I turn my face and move it around, the fake video does the same, obviously. And it also mimics my facial expression. But if you think this fake video is not exceptionally good, it's because we only did 10,000 iterations to train the AI. Imagine if we did 100,000 or even a million iterations. Trust me, you will not even realize it's a fake. You must have already seen politicians and celebrities.
Then we saw this fake video again surfacing.
A video of Rashmika Mandana has gone viral, but it turns out it's not her. It's a deep fake, just like this video. I'm a little younger than this. If you're not living under a rock, you have definitely come across the term deepfake. But to understand deepfake, we first need to understand what.
So these are sites which are available. Put in somebody's photograph, he'll mimic everything. Put in text, a voice is copied. Now we're coming to augmented reality. Metaverse, there's a concept called metaverse. Some of us use those glasses to see. I'm going to skip some videos. I came across a movie.
My name's Wade Watts. My dad picked that name because it sounded like a superhero's alter ego, like Peter Parker or Bruce Banner. But he died when I was a kid, my mom too. And I ended up here.
This is year 2045.
My
That
time
was the
going
imagination.
nowhere. There's nowhere left to go. Nowhere. Except the oasis. A whole virtual universe. People come to the oasis for all the things they can do. But they stay because of all the things they can be.
Can you feel this?
Yeah. It's the only place that feels like I mean anything. The Oasis was the brainchild of James Halliday.
Oh, if you're watching this, I'm dead.
Now that was an imagination of 2045. You know, something similar was launched last year.
Over the last year,
So that's immersive technology of reality versus augmented, all in one. 11th last year. And last week they decided to bring it to India also. So that's the kind of technology we have. Similarly, we have...
Last year and a half.
Anyway, we can skip this. Now, you see, these devices have become so realistic that you actually feel the impact. If somebody were to shake hands with you over the digital world, you'll feel his hand. Somebody slaps you, you'll feel the pain. That's how immersive these devices have become. Now, a question always arose in my mind: what would happen if somebody misuses it? For example, a 354 case. A boy in India, a girl in London. He abuses her. You're not in contact with each other, but you'll have the same feeling. Which provision of the IPC and even the new Dan Sankita, Nyaya Sankita, it still doesn't deal with it, but it actually happened.
And our last story tonight comes from the UK, where a child was allegedly raped, not in the real world, but in the metaverse, meaning virtual reality or VR. Metaverse is a digital landscape where individuals can interact with each other, they can play games, work, buy virtual property, attend concerts, and apparently even grope people, abuse, harass, or rape them. That's what happened in the UK to a 16-year-old. She was playing a virtual reality game when her avatar or digital character was attacked. She was gang raped by online strangers. The child did not suffer physical harm because it wasn't an attack in the physical world, but she suffered nonetheless. Now, for anyone who's not experienced in the world of VR, it may not sound like very much. But that's the thing about Metaverse. It feels overwhelmingly real. It is designed to be...
Now, how do you deal with these situations? But that's not the end. Something has now further surfaced, which is a complete eye-opener.
Connecting with your loved ones, browsing the web, or even playing games using only your thoughts. This is made possible by placing a small, cosmetically invisible implant in a part of your brain that plans movements. The device is designed to interpret your neural activity so you can operate a computer or a smartphone by simply thinking about moving. No wires or physical movement are required. By participating in the PRIME study, you'd be helping to redefine the back.
Elon Musk has come up with that device. Implanted in your brain, and you can operate computers. Now, I stopped that video there because he was then asking for people to come forward for clinical trials. Incidentally, a clinical trial was conducted. Successful. But with a glitch which came in.
8 years ago, Nolan Arbo was leading a normal life. But soon that changed. He met with a diving accident. His body was paralyzed. He could not move any body part below the shoulder. Arbo had accepted his fate. But this year, his life changed once again. He played chess, not with his hands, but with his brain. Sounds like a scene out of Star Wars. But it was just plain old science. Arbo was the first human to try Neuralink's brain chip. It's Elon Musk's neurotechnology firm. Arbo was given the chip in February. He says the surgery was easy. Since then, he's tested the chip many times. Once, he even played a video game for 8 hours with this chip.
Imagine being able to do that. People who think they're crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who actually do. Thank you.
I heartily thank Justice Sanjeev Sachdeva for bringing forth the wealth of knowledge and a fresh perspective that has undoubtedly left a lasting impact on all of us. I thank you once again, sir, for always being so supportive and encouraging our members in all activities and giving your precious time by gracing today's occasion. So now if anybody has any question, please. My request.
I can speak otherwise, my voice is very audible. It takes a lot of time. My name is Dr. Sangwan. Sir, my question goes around 2-3 facts. The technology.
Sorry.
Sir, thank you very much. My name is Dr. Sangwan. You are doing a great job. You have done a great job. I thank you very much. And I also suggest that as you note the justification to this topic, I request you to have a 1 or 2 days seminar on this along with a workshop so that most of the advocates are benefited by this. So my question around
my session will definitely pay heed to this. Now since the time has spilled over to 6:30, may I request anyone who has queries.
I have a query.
Sir, simple, sir. Since my lord also needs to leave, but he is joining us for a cup of tea, there anyone who has any queries can ask him, and he feels that then the program can, rather than detaining everyone here, we can join everyone can join us for a cup of tea, and sir is there, free to your questions. Tomorrow is a holiday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you much, sir. Now I request our Vice President, Shri Jatan Singh, to address vote of thanks.
We have already gone past the time, so let me just shorten up my vote of thanks. Chair to I would like to thank Justice Sachdeva. We were discussing when we thought of having this topic, so none other than Justice Sachdeva was thought that he should be the speaker, keynote speaker. So thank you, Justice Sachdeva, for telling the audience about this digital world and all these crimes and other things. And immediately when he said that if your Bluetooth is on, the first thing I did was I just put on my Bluetooth. So that he said it can be hacked. So thank you so much, and thank you all the persons who, all the advocates, CNM members. I would like to thank Veena Ralli, Organizing Secretary of the Mediation. Apart from us, she also sent so many messages to come and join this program. Thank you so much. And because of your effort, I'm finding so many mediators in the crowd. And thank you all those mediators also, those who have come and join us. I thank the other senior members who have come and join us. I would like to thank Justice Rao, who is sitting with us throughout the program, Justice Ralli, Justice Dharmesh Sharma, and all other, Justice Rudera has just joined us. We welcome him and thank you for coming. And all other judges who have come and joined us, naturally they left for their work. And I would like to thank everyone, because without you being here, this program would have not been so successful. And we have been, in this month, again, we will be requesting you, because we are organizing another seminar on some topic. We'll inform you, but I think it is happening on 24th. So, in just Sakshi Adhiniyam. So, Just to finish my vote of thanks, मैं 4 लाइनें, 2 लाइनें, 3 लाइनें, whatever it is. तलाश मेरी थी और भटक रहा था वो. तलाश मेरी थी और भटक रहा था वो. दिल मेरा था और धड़क रहा था वो. प्यार का ताल्लुक भी अजीब होता है. आंसू मेरे थे और सिसक रहा था वो. तो एक और जो अब टाइम से रिलेटेड है, मैं वैसे ही इसको खत्म करना चाहूंगा. मेरे बारे में कोई राय ना बनाना गालिब. मेरे बारे में कोई राय ना बनाना गालिब. मेरा वक्त भी बदलेगा और मेरी राय भी. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you are invited for a cup of tea. And all those people who wants to ask something about the this subject, they can ask and request Justice Sachdeva